According to Young and the Restless spoilers, Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, is forced to consider his new relationship by Victoria Newman, Amelia Heil. She obviously wants him back, or at the very least, she wants him to be by herself. Will she, however, be able to separate her ex-husband from his new girlfriend on the CBS serial opera? Victoria Newman used every opportunity to remind Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, that Billy Abbott is also spending time with her, as seen by Y&R fans. When Victoria dropped off Billy's tablet the other day, she did it, and she will not give up. Why? Vicky is alone, and she finds it annoying that he is moving on. According to previews for Young and the Restless, Victoria might decide to alter her plans for Hawaii after hearing her daughter Katie playing with Lily. Victoria Newman can use the children as leverage to get Billy Abbott to come around whenever she wants on Y&R. Recall that Victoria repeatedly ruined Billy's intentions with Lily using the children in recent episodes of Young and the Restless. Lily is aware that Billy Abbott is being duped, but he is not. On the CBS soap opera, Victoria Newman quickly steps up her efforts to distance herself from her former and his new lover. According to this week's Young and the Restless spoilers, Victoria Newman might decide to postpone her trip after learning that Billy Abbott is spending time with Lily and the children. In upcoming scenes, Billy will ask Victoria if she's comfortable with him dating Lily. After claiming to be okay with it, she prods him. According to Victoria Newman on Young and the Restless, Billy should keep asking as he might not be okay with it. That causes some hesitation in Billy Abbott. Recall that he was with his ex-wife not too long ago. After that, he flirted with another woman. He nearly became connected with Amanda Sinclair, Michelle Morgan, as you may remember from Young and the Restless. Billy was experimenting with other dangerous activities at the time. Victoria now appears to desire to reunite with him. Or perhaps she wants to ruin his and Lily's relationship. Victoria Newman and Billy Abbott getting back together is something that many people in GC would not desire. Her father, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, is the most important of them. The mustache will comment on the romance between Billy Boy and his daughter on Young and the Restless next week. Victor would probably prefer that Billy stay with Lily and avoid getting involved with Victoria. However, according to Young and the Restless teasers, she appears to meddle and ensure that her ex-husband is unable to continue his relationship with Lily. But Lily is aware of Vicky's actions and prepared to defend her partner. Prepare yourself for Young and the Restless spoilers about Victoria's next move to lure Billy away from Lily, his new girlfriend. After Victoria Newman casts doubt on his new romance, will Billy Abbott end up back in her arms? Or can he also get rid of that old bad behavior on Y&R? No one plays the long game in manipulation quite like Victoria Newman, and the power struggles on the Young and the Restless never end. Being the most successful entrepreneur in Genoa City, and an expert at identifying people's vulnerabilities, Victoria has elevated subtle psychological warfare to the level of an art. She is refocusing her intense attention on Billy Abbott, her former co-parent, and the man who has always been both her greatest vulnerability and her most intriguing project, according to spoilers for this week. However, Victoria isn't directly after Billy's heart this time. She is pursuing his thoughts. And she's going to sow a doubt that might destroy his tranquility, his partnership, and perhaps even his self-confidence. Lately, Billy Abbott has been in exceptional form. He's finally found a pattern that works after years of erratic conduct, which included hazardous business decisions and gambling addiction. He has had a stable life with Chelsea, a better balanced relationship with his kids, and a sense of purpose from his work at Chancellor Winters. He is not the same impetuous Billy who constantly destroyed himself. Or so he thinks. Victoria has been restless ever since Nate's failure at Newman Enterprises and her own battle to get back on track. She is persuaded that stability is never Billy's natural state, thus it bothers her to see him succeed while she struggles with boardroom politics. Something stirs in Victoria when they meet at Crimson Lights and Billy casually says he's been thinking about a daring new media project at Chancellor Winters. That combination of dominance and admiration, the old spark, returns with a bang. Billy is usually unnerved by her knowing smile. A brand new endeavor? It sounds thrilling, but also dangerous. Are you certain you're prepared to deal with such a situation once more? Billy scowls. What does that mean to you? Oh, nothing. She murmurs softly as she stirs her coffee. When things get intense, you just have a history of, well, getting in your own way. It seems like a harmless conversation. However, as is typical with Victoria, every syllable is planned. Billy initially tries to brush it off. He is aware of Victoria's ability to manipulate emotions and change her remarks while feigning concern. Her remark, however, stays with him long after he leaves the coffee shop. Later, Billy finds himself questioning every recommendation he makes when he meets with Lily and Devon to discuss their new joint business. Is he overly audacious? Too impetuous? Would Victoria be correct? Once more? Billy is his usual self, passionate, imaginative, yet troubled by his previous transgressions. Victoria also understands just what buttons to push. Chelsea, meantime, observes Billy's change in attitude. Their once casual discussions have become tense. When she tries to reassure him, he becomes evasive, defensive, and preoccupied. What have you been up to lately? One evening after dinner, as they are cleaning up, Chelsea asks, "You've been aloof. Does it function?" Billy lets out a long breath. "It isn't anything. I simply can't get Victoria's comment out of my head." Chelsea becomes motionless. "Victoria, how about her? She just said something about how I always seem to screw things up. I am aware that she didn't intend it badly, but perhaps she is correct. Perhaps I'm not suited for Chancellor Winter's next big move." Chelsea's jaw tightens but her countenance softens. She's been in this situation before, seeing Victoria play with Billy's fears like a puppet. She's quite skilled at getting into your thoughts, Billy. Keep her away. However, the harm has already been done. Victoria's ability to pass off manipulation as empathy has always been strong. It appears to outsiders that she is merely a protective ex-wife watching out for her children's father. However, Nick and Nikki, who know her the best, are able to spot the charade. One afternoon at Newman Enterprises, Nick says, "Mom, I saw you at Crimson Lights with Billy. Aren't you stirring the pot once more?" Victoria's eyebrows go up. "I was merely conversing. Nick, I care for him. He is my children's father." Nick gives a dry laugh. "You worry about being correct. That's your main concern. Just because you're bored doesn't mean you should tamper with his head." Victoria narrows her gaze. "You believe this to be that? Are you bored?" Her tone changes from cold to reflective as she stops. Billy is making bold steps, and it won't only impact him if he crashes, which he will. Katie and Johnny will also be impacted. I'm keeping them safe. Nick sighs, realizing that she can't be reasoned with while she's acting like this. Just be careful that your protection doesn't appear to be sabotage. Even Victoria, though, secretly struggles to articulate her intentions. Is it possessiveness or protection? Over the ensuing days, Billy's confidence keeps eroding. When Lily recommends that Chancellor Winters accept a risky marketing agreement that might completely change the perception of their business, Billy pauses. "I'm not sure," he adds in a shaky voice. "It seems like too much of a risk. Perhaps we should be cautious." Lily blinks, obviously startled. "You? Being cautious? What have you done with Billy Abbott, and who are you?" He makes an effort to chuckle, but it falls short of his eyes. "Perhaps I finally found my lesson." But on the inside, he's sliding, reliving every mistake, every careless decision, and every instance in which Victoria's voice replayed in his mind. "You always ruin the good things." Then, as if on cue, Victoria reappears right as he starts to regain some clarity. This time, wearing power red and wearing a smile that seems like a challenge, she drops by his workplace. "I learned about the new initiative you have planned. It seems a tad ambitious." "Thank you," Billy responds warily. "We continue to consider our options." Victoria takes a step closer and says, "I'm glad you're being careful. You have a lot on your plate. The business, Chelsea, and the children. I would hate to see you become overburdened once more." Although her tone is kind and seemingly empathetic, Billy perceives it as a velvet-clad knife. His jaw tightens as he asks, "You think I can't handle it?" She responds with ease, "I think you can. But I also think you forget how much you're carrying sometimes. I don't want you to burn out once more. It poses no hazard, it isn't even offensive. Even worse, it's a well-placed doubt that seeps deeply and causes Billy to mistrust everything. Chelsea is not an idiot. She has been aware of Victoria's meddling for a long time, and she thinks enough is enough when she finds out that Victoria visited Billy once again. She uses a stern yet controlled tone as she corners Victoria outside of Newman Media. Stop acting like it's about the kids and tell Billy what you have to say straight. Victoria smiles coolly. Oh, Chelsea. It's always very dramatic. I'm not meddling in Billy's affairs. I'm simply being practical. Realistic? Chelsea fires back. You are sowing doubts. Why are you attempting to undermine his trust? Because you find it intolerable that he's succeeding without you. Victoria's eyes flicker with annoyance, but her face remains unwavering. Co-parenting with someone who is always chasing chaos is something you have no idea what it's like. Chelsea's voice rises as she replies, maybe not, but I understand what it's like to love someone who is trying to change, and you're not supporting them. Chelsea knows she's made an enemy as Victoria leaves, and the fight for Billy's mental health has officially started. When Billy must decide whether to approve the new media initiative or quit his job, the strain eventually peaks. Everyone in the boardroom is watching him. Devon and Lily follow his gut, but Billy's thinking is hazy. His mind replays what Victoria said. You always manage to make things worse. As he tries to regain his balance, the room briefly spins. His voice is unsure as he murmurs, I think we need to hold off. I don't want to do something incorrectly. Lily gives him an incomprehensive glance. When did you start making decisions based on fear? Billy takes a deep breath. Since I came to the realization that perhaps I had been too careless for too long. He feels empty at the end of the encounter, as if the self-assured version of himself has escaped his grasp. Later that night, Victoria is sitting by herself in her office in Newman, scrolling through her tablet while enjoying a glass of wine. When she learns that the Chancellor Winters has postponed the presentation of their new initiative, a tiny, contented smile appears on her lips. She's not a gloat. She is not required to. Grand gestures are rarely the key to triumph for Victoria. It has to do with control. Invisible, silent, psychological control. Nevertheless, a glimmer of guilt is visible in her eyes. She is aware that she has gone too far, but it makes sense to her. This is a better way, she whispers to herself. He's not prepared. He never is. However, no one is allowed to stay on to power for very long on the young and the restless. After a few restless nights, Billy starts to understand what's going on. He goes back over his interactions with Victoria, figuring out how she subtly manipulates him by smiling when he hesitates and disguising her criticism as worry. The moment is electrifying as he finally faces her. You have been manipulating my thoughts. Billy's voice quivers with rage as he speaks. You are no longer able to do that. Victoria attempts to remain composed. I was just watching out for you, Billy. No, he interrupts abruptly. You were protecting your pride. The idea that I might be well without you is intolerable to you. Victoria had no response for once.